If you're sentenced,
all rise. District Court 226 now in session. The Honorable Judge Belia J. Mesa presiding.
Thank you. Can you see there? Hello. How are you? Good. I've never met you. So, what's your name? Cindy. Cindy. Nice to meet you, Cindy. I'm just going to call the docket. I'll let you know when we're on the record. Isaac Bettis, bond case. Isaac Bettis. What's your lawyer? I don't see him here yet, so we'll wait for him, okay? Ernesto Villarreal in custody. Ernesto Villarreal, that would be Raymond Vale. Mark that conferring. Quintero, Christopher Michael Quintero. Thank you. Conferring. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Nicole Aguilar. Ready? I think you're waiting on the witness, right? Yes. Okay, so when she gets here, we'll get started. Devontae Jackson.
here.
Where? I think you're getting recalled for Friday. Yes. Hang tight. I want you to sign and reset for Friday, okay? I think your attorney is at a seminar. Carlos Valle.
Here.
Mr. Locke, is your
Yes.
attorney?
Yes.
Let's wait for him. Ruelas, Elud Ruelas. Custody, Mr. Hodgick.
Right here, I'm sorry to.
No problem.
Yesterday, I don't know if these will be brought over.
Yes, sir. Tanya Johnson, Tiana Johnson.
It's 10.
Tanner? Your attorney is out sick, so I need you to sign a reset in just a little bit. She's out sick. All right, well, an attorney from her office will be here, so just don't go anywhere, please. Ileana Saldana. Your attorney is Ms. Durham as well. Same announcement. Hang tight, somebody will talk to you. Jesse Villafaña. Custody, Martinez. Mr. Martinez, conferring. Elias Trevino. Same announcement, Brittany client. Miriam Garcia. That's the bond case. Miriam Lisette Garcia, bond case. I'm going to have to recall that for a bond forfeiture. Regalado, Chris Alexander Regalado. That's a bond case, recall for a bond forfeiture. Dylan Lopez. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Flores. Mark, you confirmed. Vicente Espinosa, custody. That is Cornelius. Jeremy Rivera.
Here.
Joe Stenberg's your attorney? Let's wait for him. Roxanne Sherwood.
She's present with counsel judge.
I show Jesus Lopez hired.
Yes, I'm an appearance attorney for him.
I understand.
Thank you.
Mauricio was reset to 8:13. Richardson, Brian, William Richardson.
President Council.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Greenwood, Darius Greenwood. We'll wait for your attorney. Have you talked to him since the last time?
Yes, I came, but he told me.
Everything's at the same seminar, so somebody will give you a reset for Friday to everyone. Serenity McFarland. Ms. McFarland is your lawyer. Raymond Bale? Let's wait for him. Leticia Rodriguez.
I'm here for her, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Lester.
I'm not seeing her. I'll call and see where she might be, Judge.
I'll recall it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Frank Gomez, custody. Arturo Sabia, custody. Davon Kelly. Davon Kelly. That's a bond case. Recalling for bond forfeiture. Victor Velasquez.
For here, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, thank you. James Arista. Your attorney. Mr. Sawyer, thank you. Carlos Arellano.
Special counsel, you're already sitting in the hallway.
Thank you, Mr. White. Smallwood, Aaron Smallwood. I don't show an attorney for you. Who's your lawyer? I'm sorry? Okay, I'll talk to you just a little bit. What division is that? That would be family violence. If you can tell the attorneys, we have a pro se for them. Brandon Mesa, custody. Chris Leon, custody. Jose Pacheco. Jose Pacheco is a bond case, recall for a bond forfeiture. Joseph Sorolla.
Here, Your Honor.
Joaquin Hernandez is your attorney. Let's wait for him. Tony Rodriguez.
Here, Your Honor.
Kyle Ernst is your attorney.
I have no idea. Never met.
And that's who the system says is appointed. We're going to wait for him. Clinton Jones.
Here.
Where? Mr. Jones, do you have an attorney?
Oh.
I got to talk to you. I'll talk to you after the docket. Just give me some time. I'm going to have to give you another one. Elizabeth Elizalde. Bond.
Present, Your Honor.
Is that you?
Going for you and still pro justice call.
Okay. Valadez Alvaro. I'm sorry, Valadez Alvarez Cruz.
Here.
Counsel, Your Honor, I'm filling in tomorrow,
Okay. Joel Morales in custody, Timothy Rodriguez in custody. Mohammed, we took care of. Samuel Ruiz. Cummings, Brandon Cummings. I think this is from yesterday. Where? Same attorney, Kyle Ernst. Let's wait for him to get here. I do have a matter I have to take up before all the other matters at the 1:30. So I'm going to give the attorneys an opportunity to get set up so we can get started on Nicole. Attorneys, if you have to grab a file, please do that now so I can get started with this hearing. Fine. Yes, sir.
We're going to handle the hearing from here, so the witness will testify from here, and I need nobody in the room.
State, you said you have victim impact? So we need to clear the bond.
Counselors, if I can clear the box. I mean, everybody has.
But I'll just be reading it, Judge.
Everybody has.
Do we need to sign anything or check or do anything differently regarding the paperwork? Or we're all good?
No, I have to say it for the record that I'm going to re-admonish just that part.
And just so you know, I marked this and I'm going to introduce it at the time. Okay.
right now that are happening.
Counselors, if you can clear the box, you didn't get your file, you're gonna have to wait. Yes, you're in the box. Excuse me, counselor, he's coming through. He's coming through.
Judge on page 3, Garcia.
What's in the box? Counselor, she wants everybody.
Miriam Garcia. Miriam.
I checked her in and then she said that she parked illegally, so she had to move. I was like, well, go fix your parking and come back.
And they're done.
Trevino? Trevino? Jackson? Greenwood? No. Jackson.
The rest of the week is at 1:30, right? The rest of the week is at 1:30? Yes.
Trevino, are you?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Is that a question? I was with News 4. Can we stream? I was with News 4, just seeing if we could have permission to stream.
Do you have permission from the court already?
Just wanted to check.
Did you have advance permission from the court?
Just didn't. No, sir.
All right, I'll ask her right now and see what she says.
Okay.
Do not start recording until I verify it.
Party's ready?
To record, but no live streaming.
Come on up. So reading on the record, this is cause number 2021 CR110888B, as in boy. The state of Texas versus Nicole Aguilar. Attorneys, please make your announcements.
Oscar Stevens for the state of Texas.
Charles Bunk and Lindsay Shaw from Ms. Aguilar.
Oh, Ethan Moore from the state of Texas.
Ms. Aguilar, tell me your full name.
Nicole Cristina Aguilar Acevedo.
Okay, we're here for sentencing. Before we proceed to sentencing, we have to clear up the matter of the proper admonishment for immigration consequences, since we could not proceed back in June based on that. At this time, does either side wish to address that or call a witness on that?
I would, Judge, at this time would like to call Teresa Coles Davila.
Come on in. Okay, please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may proceed, Mr. Bunk.
Thank you. Would you please state your name for the record?
Teresa Coles Davila.
And Ms. Davila, are you a lawyer that is board certified on the issue of immigration law?
I am.
And in that capacity, were you asked by this honorable court to interview my client, Nicole Aguilar?
Yes, I was.
And did you have a chance to meet with Ms. Aguilar discussing her confusion on whether or not she was a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I did. I had the opportunity to meet with her in person, where we discussed at length her immigration history, her history here in the United States, and her family's history.
And were you able to ask her whatever questions you needed to ask her so you could give her advice and reach a conclusion on whether or not she was a citizen and draft what's commonly called a Padilla letter to assist the court in making that determination?
Yes, I was able to ascertain, based on her answers, that she is not a U.S. citizen, that she is in fact a lawful permanent resident. And based on that, I had to do an analysis of the plea agreement that she was about to enter into, the charges against her, and what the immigration consequences would be if she were to enter into that plea agreement.
And as a result of that meeting and the analysis you did after that, did you draft a document regarding your findings and your analysis?
I did. I drafted a Padilla letter.
And I'm going to show you what I've marked as defense exhibit number 1. Take a second to look at that and see if you recognize that.
Yes, this is the letter that I drafted on her behalf, for defense counsel on August 1st, 2024.
And Judge, for the purposes of this hearing, I'd like to introduce into evidence what's been marked now as defense exhibit number 1.
No objection from the state attorney.
Did you all get a copy?
No.
Can you share that with me?
And if I could tender to the court, I'll offer it into evidence for the purposes of this hearing.
Defense 1 is admitted.
And that's all the questions I have for this witness, Judge.
Ms. Coles Davila, do you have any questions? Do you want a few minutes to review that?
No. You were good, Your Honor.
Ms. Coles Davila, do you have the opinion that Ms. Aguilar understood your advice?
So at the time I met with her, I didn't have any advice really to give her, but I did explain to her what, at first blush, my assessment was of the case and the charges pending against her, and what the potential outcomes could be. I informed her at that time that I would draft a Padilla letter for her defense counsel so that they could review it and advise her accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from either side on this witness? Great.
I don't have glasses, but did you come to a conclusion whether or not she's removable or not?
It is my opinion that she would be removable
Okay, that's fine.
under the immigration law.
Okay. That's all.
Nothing further from the defense, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bring your client forward. Mr. Bunk, did you have an opportunity to go over this Padilla letter with your client?
Yes, Judge.
And is it your opinion that she understood the immigration consequences that will result from a plea of guilty or no contest in this case?
Absolutely.
And is it your opinion that knowing those immigration consequences, she wants to proceed with her plea as she has originally entered it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ms. Aguilar, did you understand the contents of the Padilla letter?
Yes, I did.
And you understood that it is possible that you will be placed in removal proceedings by the Department of Homeland Security?
Yes, ma'am.
And understanding those immigration consequences, do you want to go forward with this plea?
Yes, I do.
I do find that you have been properly admonished regarding the immigration consequences, that you are proceeding with this plea knowing those consequences, and I find that we can go forward with sentencing. I did accept your plea. I did that back, I believe, November the 8th, looks like March 8, 2024, a plea of guilty to the charge of injury to a child. That's a first-degree felony by omission. It's by omission. The state is going to dismiss the tampering case, and this is a cap of 15 years. Does either side want to be heard on the cap?
Yes, Your Honor. And prior to that, Judge, I would like to proffer something to the court, if I so may. One of the things I wanted to proffer, Judge, is that there were a series of meetings, 3 in particular, between the state of Texas, Ms. Aguilar, and her defense attorney, Mr. Bunke and Ms. Lindsay Shaw. And in one of those meetings, Ms. Aguilar and I were having a conversation prior to discussing the relevant facts that she ultimately testified to. And in that discussion, Judge, I asked about her tattoos that are currently visible and whether she planned to get tattoos in the future. She stated yes, but not while she was incarcerated, that when she left incarceration that she planned to get a tattoo of a flower on her shoulder, in particular a purple flower. I forget the name exactly what the flower was called, but she said what the name was, and then described it as a purple flower. I asked why that flower in particular, and she said that it was the flower, the exact flower that Dominic used to pick for her every morning outside the apartment where she lived in Florida, and he would hand it to her. I want to proffer that to the court. Additionally, I'd like the court to take judicial notice of her testimony from 2023 CR 6452, which is the state of Texas versus Daniel Garcia, in consideration for its in the punishment of this case, Judge. And at this time, I've reserved argument for rebuttal.
Judge, on behalf of Ms. Aguilar, first I would remind the court that when we were here back in June, we tendered to the court some documentation, some letters, if you would, from family members. Okay, thank you. And I wanted to make sure the court had those. On behalf of Ms. Aguilar, the court has before it today a decision to make regarding her sentence. And it is a cap of 15 years, and we're certainly not asking the court to do something like grant her 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 years. We certainly don't think that. And Nicole, and when I say we, I speak for my client. I've known Nicole now. She came to Bexar County in August of 21. I've represented her almost the entire time from that date till today. So I know Nicole very well, and I speak for Nicole. And she doesn't think that she doesn't want me to come and ask you for 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 years. She understands that's not what this is about. She wants me on her behalf to just ask the court and remind the court that she did what, although it was too late, she did what she could to help her son. And she testified in the trial against Daniel, and she testified truthfully, and even in those moments when it made her look like just about the worst type of person a person could be, she sat there and she answered the questions truthfully, and she did what she could at that time. Once again, too late, but she did what she could to help. And she stands before you today accepting responsibility for what she's done. She understands that she can never take back what happened, but we do think that a sentence of 12 years would be appropriate. It's still certainly a significant amount of time, but the reduction from 15 to 12 does show Nicole that the court understands that she did what she could to help with what happened and assist not the court, but assist the system in the verdict against Daniel and assist the state. Like the state said, she met with the state multiple times, 3 times with these prosecutors, but multiple times with other prosecutors before these gentlemen. She's always wanted to help. She's stood by that, and on Nicole's behalf, we ask you to consider a sentence of 12 years.
Maybe this court, opposing counsel. We're asking for 15. We were in the position of having to make a deal with this defendant in order to tie up the case. Without her testimony, we would be relying on the circumstances that were presented in the trial, in addition to the testimony of a 7-year-old child who had to witness an unconscious child in the hotel room. That is where we come at with the 15. In these types of emotional cases, it's tough to put together the words to say to the court. How I could bring about the details, how I can convey what happened. But at the end of the day, Judge, no matter what I say, the child will always be dead. And it's just to think about the image that's so symbolic of this case and what was heard in the testimony. I agree, she did do some things really late. She took FBI agents to her child's body so that we could have the case here. Of course, at that time, he was already a skeleton and had been out there for a month. But what's so symbolic, Judge, about this case is that if the court recalls from the testimony, from the surveillance video, there's Dominic Aguilar in a hotel room with his jaw swollen because this defendant's boyfriend had punched him in the jaw, which we later learn caused fractures in that jaw. And that he's in that hotel room in a corner while the rest of the people in that hotel room are eating pizza, including his own mother. That is the most symbolic image that will always exist in this case because, again, as I proffered to the court, what she has stated, that child loved her, like any child loves their parent. And he had to stand there, sit there with that swollen jaw, looking at his own mother eat pizza while he couldn't. And then what happens? He dies. And then what happens? She takes his body with her co-defendant and they dump it on the side of a mountain. And her participation in that was to throw water jugs at that body. Although she says that she didn't intend to throw them at him, she was just merely acquiescing to what her co-defendant said. But again, that's also an image that will always forever exist in this case. She deserves every single one of those seconds of those 15 years. We ask this court to sentence her to the max of 15 years per the agreement, Judge.
Anything else?
We do intend, Your Honor, to call her next week in the sentencing of Daniel Garcia for extraneous conduct regarding Mr. Garcia's case. So we would ask the court that we be able to not dismiss the tampering case until after that sentencing so that she's not shipped off to TDC and prevent a bench warrant requirement.
That's fine. Ms. Aguilar, this sentencing hearing has been a long time coming, and I can see that you're very emotional about it. Since this case was transferred and docketed to my court, I have given you every single thing that you're entitled to with regards to due process, including halting the original sentencing date to accommodate the appropriate immigration advice. Because I do believe in the rule of law, I live it every day, but we have to get to the business of sentencing today. And I read your PSI over and over. I read the countless letters that your family provided in support. They portray a very different Nicole. They want me to believe that the Nicole, this Nicole loved Dominic. And sadly, that's not what I got from the trial of this case. I thought somehow in the PSI, you would offer an explanation to me of what happened to this poor, helpless child who didn't ask for any of this, and you didn't. You didn't do that. You did say that it was the right thing to do, that you didn't do this for a deal. The right thing to do was the first time that he laid hands on your son to stop him, to call for help, to get help. That was the right thing to do, to intervene. When I heard the testimony that Daniel went back upstairs, and we see it on the video with Dominic, and then he leaves back and he's without Dominic. I was looking for urgency in your step to go see what happened. I didn't see it on the video because you were living a different life. According to your TAP evaluation, you both were, well, at least you answered that you had done LSD, cocaine, marijuana. And you testified that while Daniel went upstairs, you were on Facebook, on social media somehow. So I understand that you say now, I'm just doing this because this is the right thing to do. I'll tell you who the heroes of the story are, because it's not you. It's grandma, it's your mother. Grandma who had the courage to call. We have countless of grandmothers in our community that do the same. Grandma was a hero. She called, something was wrong, she didn't know what. Detective Roberto Garcia from SAPD, the countless FBI agents, the countless Department of State employees here in the United States, in Costa Rica, all those people are the heroes. The FBI agents who propelled down the mountain to go collect the remains, to have some sort of integrity in the evidence of this horrific crime. So you have earned every single day of the 15 years that you plea bargained for. That's my sentence today. Having found the evidence is sufficient to substantiate your guilt, I will find you guilty of the first-degree felony offense, injury to a child by omission, causing serious bodily injury. And I will assess punishment at 15 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. You do get credit for the time you have served in custody. I will hold off on signing the dismissal. If you want to hand it over to me, I'll hold off on dismissing that until next week. There is an affirmative finding of family violence. Is there a request for a no contact order?
With the co-defendant, yes, Judge.
No contact order with Daniel Garcia. Anything else?
No, we do have a victim impact that will be read, Judge.
This is a plea bargain case. I followed the plea bargain agreement. You do not have a right to appeal. Let's prepare for victim impact.
Judge, Ms. Aguilar was in custody in Florida before she came here. So
Can you give me the date?
yeah, it was August the 28th of 2021 when she was taken into custody in Florida.
August
28th.
For purposes of the record, she does get custody, credit for being in custody since August 28, 2021 in Florida.
Dear Nicole, I don't know where to begin, but I'll start by saying this is one of the hardest things my kid and I have been through. This case has impacted us more than you will ever know or comprehend. As a mother, I will never understand. I will never be able to wrap my head around what happened, what you let happen. It's truly heartbreaking. Dominic deserved better. My kids deserved better. And in my eyes, you failed as a mother. You failed to protect your children, and you failed to protect mine. You will be behind bars for the majority of your life in a cell with barely any connection to the outside world. I, however, have to get up every day and face my children. I have to clean up the mess that was made and get them through the rest of their lives without Dominic, without you, and their father. I have to answer questions that I don't have the answers to. I have to answer questions I am ill-equipped for, questions that they shouldn't be asking me at their age. It's heartbreaking as a mother to tell your children that they will never see their friend again, they'll never play with him again, or laugh with him again. It's something they should know at their age. As far as knowing you, they'll remember who you were to them, and I'll never take that away from them. But they will not know anything else about you until they're older. pain will never get easier. It'll never just go away. And as a mother, it's my job to protect my kids. It makes me sick I couldn't protect them from this. And I will do my best to have Dominic's memory live on and be remembered by Danielle and Alexander. Dominic does not deserve to be forgotten. He deserves so much more than this in his short-lived life. And Danielle and Alexander love him so much, and they miss him every day. And I promise they will never forget about him. As a mother, that's the least I could do. Sincerely, Samantha.
Can I see the attorneys again? For purposes of the record, we're back on the record. For purposes of the record, I did have all of the letters translated because they were in Spanish. So do you want to offer this as defense too?
Yes, I would offer that envelope and its contents as defense too.
So I will file, as states, Defense Exhibit 2, the letters, the translations, and the affidavit of
Thanks,
translation.
Judge.
Ms. Aguilar, you are remanded to the custody of the sheriff to begin your sentence. We're off the record. You can take her all the way back.